Hello, this is Paul here, and I am back in the world of Minecraft for I think episode 3 of my Let's Play that I kicked off. So I don't know how the conditions have come to be, but here I am in my office with Minecraft open on June 30th, 2024, and we are going to record another episode of Minecraft. Someone had actually asked me 2 weeks ago if I had planned on doing another one of these, and to be honest, I hadn't. But them asking sort of lit the fire in me to make one because it hasn't been the first time that people have asked me this. And you can see here, Power's first home, July 2023. And as of tomorrow, it is July 2024. So it has been almost an entire year since I last posted a video on YouTube. And I figure I at least owe it to some people to provide an update every so often. And you never know what could happen. This could be the start of me doing somewhat regular videos again, or it could not. I don't want to promise anything, but I am here now to give you guys a little bit of an update where I've been, what I've been up to, what I'm doing in my life at the moment, and yeah, all that sort of stuff. So I need to get a pickaxe though. I'm running out of iron here, and I've just noticed that. And quite a lot has been added to Minecraft, even in the past year that I'm really unaware of. But yeah, I have the past year. What can I describe it as in a nutshell? I think for me, the past year has really been maybe one of seclusion. I think as I get older now, so I turned 31 this year, and it's kind of frightening actually for me to say that 31. Wow, that's I think as you get older, you sort of realize that age itself. It's kind of cliche. Age is just a number, but I'm sure everyone can relate to the experience of growing up and thinking that once you hit a certain age, that things suddenly would start to fall into place. And in a way, they do. I'm in my own house right now, doing adult things. I have a full-time job. I've been a programmer now for close to a decade, professionally. Um, and I've done plenty of adult things. Next week is the general elections here in the UK, and I'm going to be voting. That seems like a pretty adult thing to do, but I still do not feel like an adult at 31. So I figure it's probably just going to be this way for the rest of my life, and lean into that sort of chaos a bit and work with it because, if things haven't changed now, they probably are not going to in terms of my relation to the world. So yeah, 31 this year, and the past year of my life, what have I been doing? Well, let me just get a pickaxe here real quick to dig down a little bit. I have been working, obviously, as a software developer. I'm a TypeScript, JavaScript guy. Work with React Native, making mobile apps and web apps, and sometimes a little bit of back end code and AWS DevOps stuff, but mainly focus on the client side. And that's kind of my bread and butter, and it has been for the majority of my career. So I'm still doing that. I have taken a little bit of a step back online. I'm sure some people will have noticed that. Where's this coming from? Man, these new songs on Minecraft are actually kind of nice, aren't they? I was actually listening a month or two ago to the original soundtrack, and it's strange how it can be such a flood of memories. But this new stuff's not too bad either. So I've been taking a little bit of a step back actually from the online world because I think as I get older, I start to realize how sensitive we are as creatures, as human beings, and this is something that I've learned over the years doing meditation, which I still do every day. It's kind of like a habit at this point in my life. It's interesting. I think the last time I made a video, I was going on a meditation retreat, and I went on that. And I actually went on a retreat in April as well. I try to go on those retreats twice a year, just generally quite good for the practice. But I think that whole act of doing that type of practice, that awareness practice, is you're really turning the sensitivity in your mind up to 100. And I think a lot of people have these erroneous views of the practice that you're just going to sit there and bliss out and get rid of all thoughts. And that can happen at times. Actually, when I think of the most sort of enjoyable experiences that I've had in my life, it has actually been on retreats, 4 or 5 days into them, where the mind starts to settle down and you can be quite content and peaceful. But life is not always like that, and sometimes it's a little bit easy to get attached to that. I was talking about sensitivity and how, we as humans are very sensitive, and our minds are very sensitive in ways that we may not know. So I try to stay away from social media now. I've don't really use Twitter at all. I've deleted my Facebook long ago. Even YouTube, I think YouTube can be great at times, but you're kind of at the mercy of their algorithm and what they show you. I know you can create that to a degree, but just being very careful with the information you absorb for me has been something that I have been working on. So I've kind of been stepping away from the online world, which is a very strange experience to me, because I spent pretty much, I would say, close to 2 decades of my life being online almost 24/7, and it kind of frightens me in a way. Like uh, I never get on TikTok. I have never used TikTok or downloaded it on my phone, which might be quite surprising to some people. But just seeing my my family, my younger family, like my cousins and things like that, just absolutely addicted to these things is kind of worrying in a way. Um, so really, your attention is probably one of the most precious resources you have in the world, and to use that wisely. And I'm not going to sit here and say, I'm some perfect minimalist or digital minimalist. Is that what they call them? There's a good book as well, by the way, Cal Newport book. But I will say, trying to really limit the sources of information you take in has been important to me. And I think some people will maybe say, "Oh, that's like ignorant," or you need to stay informed to the world. But usually, what I say is like anything important filters its way through to me through friends and family. I don't think our brains evolved to take in large amounts of information on a global scale. And when you really think of the amount of suffering in the world on a daily basis, it's really enough to um, paralyze you into doing anything, because that's the way the world is. Sadly, it's been like that since the dawn of humanity, and it is a tragic thing, of course. But it shouldn't. You know, I think for me, I am more effective as a human just by concerning myself to what's in my own control. And there's a quote I really like from Zen master Suzuki Roshi, and someone asked him about like global conflicts and stuff, and um, how people can help with that. This was back in the '60s. He's dead now, and he said something along the lines of, I don't really focus on global happenings because I don't have much control over that. So I just try and focus on keeping my little corner of the world tidy. And I really like that quote. My little corner of the world, my day-to-day interactions, and uh, my actions within the world, really, because that's ultimately all we do control, our own actions. A little bit cliche, but it is true. So that's kind of why I have disappeared online recently, and I'm probably going to continue to keep a sort of low profile. Maybe I'll check in once in a while with these YouTube videos and things like that, but Um, I find that really helpful for me. Little pro tip as well. So if you uninstall all of the social media apps, like I have an Instagram account that I log into once a week or once or twice a week just to check in with friends. But if you uninstall the apps like Instagram or Reddit and then only use the web client, it's actually so much more helpful because as someone who works as an app developer, it is much easier to gamify the actual app when you're writing like a native app versus the web client because it's the actual the browser APIs that you work with are a lot more limited than the actual native apps themselves. So you'll probably find that Instagram or Reddit isn't as addicting if you're browsing it in Safari or Chrome on your phone because a little bit slower, doesn't have that sort of nice UI UX that a lot of money has put into to keep your eyeballs on the screen. So just a little pro tip there. I think going cold turkey is a little bit difficult, so moderating usage, in my opinion, is the best way forward there. Um, so that is where I have been. Someone also had asked me why I have deleted some of my videos, so you might have noticed that I have deleted uh, quite a lot of my vlogs over the years. I haven't deleted them; they're private, and the reason for that is um, I felt like in the past sort of 10 years, there is quite a lot of my life online. Um, and I wanted to reduce that. I wanted to reduce my footprint on the internet. So a lot of my vlogs have went as a result because there was, footage of where I lived and things like that. And um, shared quite a lot about myself in those videos, which I'd never really shared anything that I wasn't comfortable with sharing. I was quite honest and transparent in my videos, but um, over the years, I've had people in a professional context tell me that they have watched my videos. I don't tell anyone about my YouTube channel, but it usually gets around from word of mouth. Someone will have watched a video years ago and they're like, "Oh, did you know Paul has a YouTube channel?" So people will generally be curious and go on to it. And for me, it's a little bit uncomfortable when someone knows everything about you and you know very little about them. And yeah, that's kind of why. Because I did share quite a lot of my life online. There's still quite a lot about me online. It's just I wanted to limit that a little bit. So that's the reason why some of the vlogs have disappeared. Um, what I have been up to in my spare time this past year. So I have been running. I always have been running, running quite a bit. I started going back to the gym about 8 9 months ago for the first time in like 5 years. So I'm currently like the heaviest I have ever been. Not in terms of like uh, getting fat. I am very. I don't want to say blessed in a way because it's quite a curse for me as well. That naturally I've always been quite slim, and I've always struggled to put on weight. So my issue is actually being underweight more than being overweight. Um, so I've been hitting the gym and bulking up just to help with my running. Uh, Past 6 months, I've pretty much also been doing like yoga every day, 10 15 minutes minimum, and that has been really helpful for me. I am a desk worker. I am a software engineer, so I sit at my desk 8+ hours a day, and doing that for the past 10 years has kind of destroyed my flexibility and given me a lot of like lower back problems and general aches and pains and imbalances. So let me see what level I'm on here. 37. I was kind of hoping to find a cave to get some iron in. So that has been really helpful. I kind of just follow videos on YouTube, and I know there's various apps and things like that that you can follow as well. Let me just get some error here. Okay. So that's been super good. Anything else that I've been doing? I'm not really too sure. I've been doing a little bit of DJing over the years. You guys know that, trying to make a bit of music, but it's kind of always been in the background. Not really made much progress on making music from it. It's very hard. One of the things I struggle with at the moment is, mental energy. I find that I'm very exhausted at the end of the day at work, and it's very difficult for me at times. Oh crap! I'm gonna lose my breath here. Need to get some air back. Um, and I think realistically, I might actually be having a little bit of burnout, which is kind of hard for me to admit. I was working at a startup before for 2 years, and then I jumped into my current job, and I've been here almost 2 years now as well. I kind of just been flat out jumping to the next big feature. I don't think I've really had an extended break off work in about 4 or 5 years, and yeah, it's a little bit difficult to be honest. But I think admitting that is probably okay. I'm gonna need to get some air here because otherwise I'm gonna die. Okay. Yeah, this underwater thing isn't going too well. So that's something I'm trying to combat at the moment. It's just a lot of the motivation that I have had towards coding in the past couple of years has been uh, drying up. I used to do a lot of work outside of work, like learning new technologies and um, learning, new things outside of my skill set. And I think for me, like, um, don't get me wrong, I'm very grateful to have a job in technology. It's a very well paying sector. I'm very grateful to have stable employment. I'm sure you guys have seen there's a lot of tech layoffs happening in the past couple of years. So to have stable employment and have a solid income coming in and giving me the ability to see and build wealth is very grateful for that. But mentally, it is quite tiring. And I think even part of me is quite hesitant to say this on a video because there's the off chance that like somebody from work could watch this. But I think it's good to be honest. And acknowledge that because it's quite strange. In my early 20s, when I went to university for computer science and my first couple of jobs, I was very high on coding and software development. Like I loved doing it, and then 10 years into it, it's just a job now. And maybe that's okay. The analogy that I give is like I view like software as a trade or a craft. And do you think like someone like a plumber or like an electrician or a joiner um, outside of work studies and does all that sort of stuff? And the answer is probably no. They go to work, do the job, and then they go home. I think one of the big parts in tech for me, it's very hard to turn my brain off. There's always something to be working on, and it never stops. So when I go and shut my laptop down on a Friday at 5 or 6 o'clock, in the back of my mind, I know there's a feature due next week, or there's a big commitment that I have to deliver before the end of the next financial quarter. And that's always in the back of my mind. Like there's no off switch there. And then at times I'll feel like, what did I come down here for without torches? So at times I will feel like I need to compensate for that by working longer or working at night or the weekends. And I probably don't, but that's just kind of how I'm wired and very easy to burn out that way. I'm totally aware of that. So energy management and really trying to work with that has been a topic I have been looking at recently. And I go to the gym, I eat well, meditate every day, sleep 8 hours a day, but the mental energy fluctuates quite a lot, and I think that's okay to be honest. I think realistically, I don't know about you guys, but I don't think in uh, in like a white collar profession that anyone can work 8 hours a day, solid focused work. Just unless you are one of the very few high performers, that's just not possible. So for me, if I manage to get 3 or 4 hours of solid coding done, that is a really good day for me, and I'm happy with that. So I use the Pomodoro technique quite a lot at work, 25 minutes and then 5 minutes off, and that's very helpful. But it's finding that sort of drive, I guess, to um, I guess this is kind of like looking at the whole Western idea of self improvement, because I know I get sucked up into that trap quite a lot in my 20s. Um, that you constantly have to strive and improve. So I don't even know what I'm doing here. I think I'm looking for a cave of some sorts to get iron, but I really can't find it. So I'm just gonna branch mine here. I know, not very entertaining, but whatever. Um, so that whole sort of Western idea of like self improvement and having to get better and not being able to rest on your laurels. And I sort of think like I look at where I am right now. Financially, I have a good bit of money saved up. Very fortunately, I will take a bit of credit there as well. I think I have been very financially disciplined. Like I don't have enough money to quit my job tomorrow, but you know, if I did lose my job, I would have a couple years of expenses paid for, which is nice to have. But even with that, I still have this sort of borderline feeling of anxiety in my mind that like I need to prepare, I need to do more, I need to be more productive, or I need to prepare for like the hurricane. This not an actual hurricane. This is a metaphorical hurricane in my mind that's coming, and always stocking more money or like upskilling so I can be employable. Um, Constantly trying to strive to be better. Like I have to do all of that professionally, or even from a health perspective. I need to go to the gym and I need to yoga and meditate because I'm not good enough right now. And when I think back, like I remember reading a journal entry that I wrote back in 2017, 2016, and it was something like, I want to earn £30,000. Um, by the way, like a lot of people have this idea that, at least for me, this is how it was for me. Um, when I was on YouTube, I was not earning a lot of money in my early 20s, so I did YouTube full time from 18 to 22. I think the best year I had, I cleared like 35 grand, and then the tax man took like 8 grand of that. So you know, pretty much earning just above minimum wage for a couple of years in my early 20s, which I was fine with because it gave me a lot of opportunity and experience. But obviously working in IT is a different, you know, there's a lot of money in IT. But I remember in 2016, I think 2015, 2016, I wrote a journal entry and I had my first programming job, and I wrote an entry and it was like, I will be happy when I earn this amount of money, like 30 grand or something, and I'm earning like a lot more than 30 grand, let's just say, right now. And I still have that feeling of like inadequacy or wanting more. Um, Maybe that's just human nature, though. Maybe that's just how we're wired. And I think for me, getting older, like just accepting that this is how my brain works and being aware of that, like this is again, the meditation practice is really helpful because you're not trying to get rid of things, you're not trying to change your mind states, you're just being aware of them. Like, okay, like anxiety is arising in my mind right now and I'm aware of it. This is just how my brain is or my mind is. And that's something that I find helpful in Buddhism, where the mind is actually a sense rather than a, you know, a sense of self. The mind is a sense. So a bit like the sense of touch or taste or hearing, thoughts coming up in the mind is like a sensory impingement. And a lot of those are outside of our control, and our feelings as well. Vedana. Uh, so that's been very helpful for me. But I don't know when it'll end. I guess my lofty goal right now is to get to a point where I can retire from a full time job and take a part time job, and I would like to do that. I don't see myself working in tech for another 25 years. Personally, just it's a little bit too, as I said, a little bit too stressful for me having the what the hell, like as I said earlier, not being able to turn off is the big thing for me. Um, I would like a job where I can go and the work is done at the end of the day, and that's all. But obviously, they don't pay as much as a job in tech, so it's kind of catch 22 there, isn't it? So I would like to get to a point in the next 10 years where I can take a step back, and that to me maybe means having my house paid off. Because I'm quite frugal. I am. I've been reading a lot of books by people who have retired early, and I think I lean towards the frugality side of it, not because um, it's strange conveying this to friends. My monthly expenses are probably around £1,000. That includes my mortgage, food, cat supplies, insurance, gym, phone. You know, so I can live off very little, and I feel perfectly comfortable with that. I don't need to. I have friends telling me, "Oh, you need to travel. You need to buy. You need to travel around the world. That's how you really live life." But I feel quite content just living, how I do at the moment. Reading books, meditating, running, learning a bit of piano. Like all those things are free, and for me, it's been kind of fine. Like I'm perfectly fine with that. So that's kind of like my lofty goal in the next 10 years. To maybe get to a point where I can maybe I don't know go and take a job at a coffee shop or be a postman or something, and work a couple of days a week. Because I really need to address in the back of my head that idea of always having to do more or strive for survival. But again, like I said, that might just be how my brain is wired. That might be just how the human brain is wired. It's oh no, what the hell? Does that mean? Oh no, doesn't that mean there's gonna be like lots of those? Okay, okay, I don't know what to do. I'm just gonna go back. So maybe that's just how my brain is wired. Where like, you know, it's always gonna be like this, and I just need to learn that this is how my brain works, and those feelings don't necessarily need to be true. It's just the brain doing what the brain does. So really, that is my goal in the next 10 years to get to that point. What would I do with all the free time? It's interesting. Like I think it's quite cliche. I'm sorry, but the whole idea of like love, if you love your job, you won't work a day in your life or something like that. I think there's very few people in the world that are privileged enough to end up in that position, and for the majority of us, we just kind of have to do our jobs. And again, I'm not trying to say that I'm super unhappy with my job because I'm not. The people are fantastic. I think that's a big part of it. Having really uh, good colleagues is important. But and I'm very grateful, of course, to be in the position I'm in because I know from working in my teenage years that my dad, for example, works in the public sector and he's just about to retire now. Actually, he's like 62, I think, and a big confusing moment for me in my life was basically when I overtook my dad's salary. That was very confusing for me because I've seen like how much my dad works, um, and he does a lot of work, like a lot more than me, and yet I got paid more than him, and he had like a 40-year career. So 40 years, with really small pay bumps. And yet I was like a couple of years into my programming career, and I was like, oh, okay, how did this happen? So, I'm very grateful to be in a career where I can earn a good amount of money, especially in a low cost of living area, like Northern Ireland is compared to the rest of the UK. I know, what am I doing here? But at the same time, I don't know, figure it's got to be more to life than work. And I think for me, the past sort of decade, that is, I suppose it does make up the majority of everyone's life. But for me, working outside of work and upskilling and stuff, the average 40-hour week can easily turn into 60. And yeah, just realizing that it's kind of depressing for me. Um, but life's what you make it. Isn't that what Hannah Montana said? Life's what you make it. So trying to look for the opportunities in daily life. I mean, this is the whole part of the Buddhist practice. The Zen Buddhist practice is like, I'm sure you've heard the cliche, like, um, before enlightenment, chop wood, carry water. After enlightenment, chop wood, carry water. There's nothing inherently different in the day to day activities that you do. It's just the actual state of mind that changes, and the relation to things that changes in a way. And that's really what I'm trying to do at the moment, is like, okay, there's an opportunity for learning here. Um, like last year, I was thrown into mobile development randomly, and I just kind of used that as an opportunity, which was really nice. I have learned a lot of mobile development stuff in the past year, which is a good skill to have. Um, and also relating to that, like, when I see sort of these feelings arise in my mind, can I just observe them and use them as like, you know, a tool for the meditation practice? So yeah, that's one hand. But yeah, I think what would I kind of ask myself, like, what would I do if I could retire? Probably, uh, for me, music's a big one. Definitely, music's a big one. I've often also thought of like going to retrain as like a physio. I would think that would be quite kind of nice as well, because I've always been like a bit of a sporty person. I've ran a few marathons, do a bit of weightlifting, do a bit of yoga, and I've seen a physio quite a lot of times in my life, and I find that really helpful for helping my own sort of physical issues that I've had of pain. Um, so something like that where you can make an impact on someone would be cool. Um, I don't know really. Maybe something like a postman would be nice. Uh, Walking a lot, but I have a friend of a friend who's a postman, and they say it isn't all that glamorous, especially on the wet days. Um, so that's where I'm at right now in my career. Kind of wondering what to do. I did see Seth Blink posted a few videos about coding mods in Minecraft, and he did like realistic physics in Minecraft, and that was really cool to me. I was actually talking to my friends the other day of like, I really enjoyed computer science at university, and I sort of look now at what I do on a day to day basis, and I'm gonna die, aren't I? Oh, what the hell! I should have just got like a bucket of lava or something. Okay, I'm definitely gonna die here. Do they drown? Oh no. What have I done? I'm definitely gonna die. My own stupidity more than anything killed me here, didn't it? Yeah, it did. Okay, thankfully I'm only a few seconds away, so let's see. Yeah, well, why am I just running right back down there to die? It's pretty stupid. I did see I had lava somewhere, though. I think that's a good weapon. There it is there. Okay, we'll put that there. Just go down and burn them all. Hopefully not burn myself in the process. But yeah, we'll get my stuff back and I'll wrap up this video because it is going on quite long now and I've rambled quite a lot. But I think I've kind of said everything that I wanted to say here. Is that my stuff there? It is. Okay, I'm not just going to make the same mistake though I did last time, am I? Are they still going to be angry at me? Maybe. Pretty stupid that. Don't know why I did that for. I do hear spiders though. What other things? So I went up to my parents recently and grabbed all my old stuff. And I had a PSP, a Nintendo DS XL, a bunch of old games. I'm kind of selling everything I own at the moment because, you know, I have so much stuff that I don't use. All my old games I did Let's Plays on, all my old Game Boy games. I think I recently sold a Metroid Game Boy Advance game for like 100 quid because it was boxed and had the manuals and stuff. So much crap laying around that obviously people who aren't me want. So I've been kind of just selling those off lately and trying to liquidate all of the stuff I don't use into money and building the savings up, I guess. But if I find anything cool, I'll definitely let you guys know on that one. Other than that, I'm trying to think what else that I wanted to say today. I think it's a pretty good update, if I say so myself. And we'll see how this goes, you know, if it's well received. I might come back in a week or two and do another one. But I definitely will be back. I don't want to leave you guys hanging. When that will be, though, who knows. But thanks, everyone, for tuning in. I always say that these videos feel very cathartic to me, you know. So it has been nice talking for the past 30 minutes. With that one, I will see you all later. Have a very nice day. Oops. And bye-bye. That is not a very good ending, is it, where the music cuts off? But I have no way to hit stop recording on my software without doing it, so bye-bye.